Hey, it's GW coming to you live once again. Fresh off the Scarface review, you can see that there. We're going to talk about Quentin Tarantino's debut review, or debut film, not review, Reservoir Dogs. Now, this is the 10-year edition. This is a classic movie because it psychologically messes with you. It's about guys pulled together to do a heist at a jewelry store in a bank robbery. And when the film starts, it's the classic Tarantino. We're going to set you up for something relaxing, pull the rug out from under you, and we're going to make sure that you can see that you're falling, but you don't exactly know what's going on. And Tarantino does a good job of setting you back to be relaxed, and then when the film starts, you're thrust into a who did what, how come this happened type situation. Basically, and the movie is, like I said, psychologically amazing because it makes you think you saw a bank robbery you did not see. And to this day, when you watch this movie, you can pretty much put together what happened in that bank robbery based on the characters' dialogue. It's really clever of Tarantino, and it's a trick that I haven't seen widely used in films. So anyway, this is the 10-year edition, and basically this film is unique for another couple of reasons. One, the star power is great. You have Michael Madsen, Tim Roth, Lawrence Tierney, Chris Penn. You have Harvey Keitel. And it's just a powerhouse. Sort of B-movie actors. Well, I wouldn't say Harvey Keitel and Tim Roth are. But Michael Madsen, maybe an A-B player, but he's one of my favorite actors. And he plays Mr. Blonde. They all have code words in the movie. If you haven't seen it, then it's Mr. Blonde, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink, Mr. White, Fast Eddie. Everybody has nicknames in here, which is pretty cool. The other thing this film is unique for is that you, the viewer, get to see these characters' backstory. You get to see, how Mr. Blonde, Michael Madsen, came to be working with Joe Cabot. Joe Cabot is the guy that put this thing together. All right. But you get to see that. Another interesting fact that Tarantino files might not pick up is that Michael Madsen's character, other than being called Mr. Blonde, is a guy named Vic Vega. Now, if you're thinking that sounds familiar, that's from Pulp Fiction. His brother is Vincent Vega, opposite Samuel L. Jackson in that film. So you can make the connection. Now, Quentin Tarantino did say at one point he was working on a Vega Brothers screenplay. It fell nowhere. Nothing has been heard about it since. So I'm hoping the dude's going to work on it because I think we need a good movie, telling us about the Vega Brothers. But right now now—he's working on a film that deals with the Sharon Tate, Charlie Manson murders. So I don't know if we're going to hear anything about that or not. Okay, but now back to Reservoir Dogs. This film, if you haven't seen it, you probably heard of the infamous ear-cutting scene. This DVD contains deleted scenes with alternate angle. Now, this, too, was also made into a video game for the PS2. I had it, I played, you play through all the characters, you get the same ending, but every character had special abilities. Mr. Blonde's character did the ear-slicing, special attack. And again, it was probably a game that wasn't really fully recognized as being a potential hit. I wish I still had it to show you guys, but, technology moves away, and I beat the thing 85 times, and I got rid of it. Sorry about that, guys. But I wish I could review that for you. The plot of the movie is pretty cool, actually. After they pull off a bank robbery, they are in a garage, abandoned warehouse type affair, and one of them realizes that the only thing that made them get caught was that one of them is an undercover cop. Now, I am not going to tell you who it is because I do not want to ruin the surprise. But let's just say that the viewer learns it before these guys. Because as I said, you get to learn their backstory. This thing is very ferocious. I mean, this was a hell of a debut film because it just flew out of the gate. And it didn't pull any prisoners. It was a hip, in-your-face, gangster, criminal style movie. The other thing is that there's a few actors in here, Lawrence Tierney and Chris Penn, who have passed away. One of the deleted scenes has Chris Penn, and it looks like he's enjoying himself in the scene. They're in the car. Now, aside from that scene, in the backstory, this film takes place, like I said, solely in a warehouse. One of the other interesting facts is that when you see Mr. Blonde sit on a car, Michael Madsen's character, he is actually sitting on a hearse, which would come to make one think that this thing is shot sort of in a funeral home. And again, if you do find the 10-year, you will also have your choice of the covers. If you're familiar with the movie and you have a favorite character, you can probably get that in the 10-year version. Now, when you open up the 10-year version, you will see a profile of Mr. Blonde. Like I said, is my favorite character. Crowd control was his job. You also get quotes, which, you know, if you've seen the movie, you're very familiar with, because these things will stay with you. You get a little profile of what happened and how he turned out in the film. And we're going to turn this bad boy around so you can see that. Now, you see that picture there with all the characters: Michael Madsen, Quentin Tarantino, Harvey Keitel, Chris Penn, Tim Roth, Lawrence Tierney, and Steve Buscemi. They are all walking down the street, and it's the intro to this movie. And this thing has been recreated a lot. In fact, Tarantino's company, A Band Apart, has taken this and pretty much made it its logo. Now, if you look a little closer, which we're going to, you see what I was talking about. Deleted scenes, including 2 never-before-seen alternate angles of the ear scene. These were held because, again, of ratings issues. This almost got an NC-17 for violence, believe it or not. But there was really no graphic violence in the theatrical run. Makes one think. Interviews with Tarantino, Lawrence Bender, Tim Roth, Chris Penn, Michael Madsen, Eddie Bunker, Kirk Baltz, and others. Which is pretty awesome. You know, you have Reservoir Dogs, a tribute. Basically, Tarantino goes on to applaud filmmakers for breaking the rules, Scorsese and others, and it's pretty neat to hear him talk. You also get the class of '92. A look at the Sundance Film Festival where this thing premiered. This thing did premiere in the Sundance Film Festival, and it was hailed a perfect winner, ladies and gentlemen. Small Dogs, action figure development. They were talking a lot about making action figures for this. I don't know if any of them have come to light. If they do, let me know. I'm going to go out and get them because I'm a big Tarantino buff. You can also interact with the K-Billy Super Sounds of the 70s radio. Now, if you've seen this movie, they really play a lot of good 70s songs in here. Stuck in the Middle with You, you know, a lot of stuff. Put the lime in the coconut, you know, all that good stuff. And it really does give the picture sort of a feel that it does take place. And these guys love the 70s. You know, as you can see, they're all in sunglasses. They look cool. Basically pretty awesome stuff. You get a poster gallery, theatrical trailer, a lot of stuff. And there it says 140 minutes runtime. Or 1 hour and 40 minutes, I'm sorry. Again, the sound on this is pretty awesome. You have a home theater system, it's going to blow you away. This thing, you know, is really amazing. As you can see there, it's raw power and breathtaking ferocity. It's the brilliant American gangster classic film from director Quentin Tarantino. They were perfect strangers assembled to pull off the perfect crime. And again, their simple robbery explodes in the ambush, and the ruthless killers realize that one of them is a police informant. And like I said, this film is very cool because it does show you their backstories. You don't know, and you're waiting to see the reaction. And the performances are just awesome. Now, Chris Penn did another mob-related film called The Funeral, which you should check out. Now, Steve Buscemi, he's been on a lot of mob-type stuff. You know, you ought to check him out, too. Tim Roth pretty much made his mark on this film. He's also gone to do other films such as Hoodlum. You know, he's done that. He's done a movie with Tupac, Gridlocked, and he's a versatile actor. He's the one third going to Michael Madsen, if you don't know. Harvey Keitel did a couple of mob movies before this, one of them being Scorsese's Mean Streets, so you know he knows how to act. You know, Tarantino not only wrote this thing, but he also starred in it. You know, for just a little bit, his character gets killed, and I guess so he could focus on directing. There's a lot I could say about this, and this is another one where you watch it, it does stick with you, and it is pretty wild. But there is also some really cool dialogue. I mean, when these guys are sitting, they sit at the diner in the beginning of this film, and they're discussing pop culture, everything from Madonna to John Holmes. And it gives you a feeling you're not dealing with your standard bank robbery people who just want cash and get out. They're doing it for a reason. It's never revealed why, but they are doing it for a reason. But the dialect and their wit makes you want to know more about these characters, you know? So, check out Reservoir Dogs. It has lasted. Now, this is a couple years old, this DVD, so it's probably 15 years, I would think. And I'm kind of waiting for a special edition to drop. What I'd really like to see Miramax do, and Artisan, is come together and put the deleted scenes back in the film and make it an extended version. That would be awesome. But again, if you haven't seen this film, I suggest you check it out. You know, it's really a lot of fun. And you get to see how Quentin Tarantino was not only influenced by the people that he used to run a video store video store and watch, you know, during off hours, but you also get to see how he put adrenaline into the mob, you know, gangster stuff. And he gave it a couple of shots, too, with this film. And being that he was able to assemble, you know, all these good actors for this thing was incredible. So definitely check out Reservoir Dogs. I would tell you more, but I'm going to give away the ending, and I do not want to do that. But, you know, for right now, we're just going to say, you know, Chris Penn was awesome. I hope he rests in peace. Lawrence Tierney, same thing. Very good actor. You know, and I admire these guys' talent, you know, a lot. And that's the thing. When you watch a movie and you realize one of the actors passed, you know, maybe it's me, but it means more. And you really get to see what they offered. Do you know what I mean? So, but I'm not going to get all preachy about that. But I just will say this on a similar note about actors. You know, watch the Psycho movies. Now, Anthony Perkins has passed away, and he was able to pull off 4 of those. And number 4, you know, regarded by critics as being the stupidest entry in the series, I thought it was the most creative. Because it showed you how Norman Bates became Norman Bates, and it was, you know, Henry Thomas. But the whole time he carried that movie because he was on the phone with a radio show host. And again, I'm not going to critique it. I'm just saying that performance sticks out in your mind. You know, and that's the thing. Maybe when actors are gone, maybe their films mean more after they're gone because you realize that talent isn't there. So I'm going to leave you with that. And next time you're at the video store or you're on Amazon perusing, you're looking for a good American gangster movie, you know, about a heist, you might want to check out Reservoir Dogs. You know, has a lot of language, violence, but you get to see the birth of a really awesome director in Tarantino. Take my word for it, you will not be disappointed.